Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Biggie Sweats and today I'm bringing you a guide on Sub Rogue, a new viable contender for that top spot of melee in dungeons and a very strong class in raiding. But before we jump straight into it, I want to say thank you for all the support on the YouTube recently. I know we haven't uploaded in about 2 weeks, but that's going to change. I want to be way more consistent with this uploading. And before we get started, make sure we like and subscribe. There's still a heavy portion of you that aren't subscribed to the channel right now, so make sure we click that button ASAP and come and check us out over on twitch.tv. Monday, Wednesday, Friday we stream WoW all day, all night. Keys, raids, giveaways, whatever you need to make a good WoW stream. Now let's jump straight in and talk about the viability of the rogue, of the sub rogue, some of its strength and weaknesses, just in general. So some of its strengths, it's got decent burst damage on demand. Now when I say decent, I'm talking quite heavy. With big packs, its burst potential, if you set it up right, is extremely high. You're talking 3, 4, 5, 600k, maybe even more, because the sub rogue has a lot of preemptive like cooldowns that use, and then you just go nuts with spin black powder, spin black powder, spin black powder, and you just burst, build its damage, and then you hit secret technique at full whack and it just obliterates enemies. Now it also has some powerful defensives, just like the outlaw rogue: cloak of shadows, feint, evasion, crimson vial. Its cleave situations fuel additional single target damage, so it's able to cleave into single target, which is awesome. It has a lot of utilities such as shroud and concealment, kidney shot, cheap shot, blind, which come in handy in mythic dungeons where you need to stun off someone, interrupt, or keep someone CC'd. And it also has use in raids if there's adds or phases where you need to keep something controlled. Now, it does have some weaknesses. The damage outside of Shadow Dance and Symbols of Death can be very low, so your consistent damage isn't quite as there as it is on the Outlaw Rogue. And due to combos point spenders, reducing the cooldown of Shadow Dance, losing uptime is a significant DPS loss. Now, as we move on from talking about viability, we're going to jump straight in to talk about the talents. Left and right side, and we're going to be starting with Mythic plus talents. Now this is where Subtlety really thrives. Outlaw was dominating the meters, dominating the charts for Mythic Dungeons, but with the recent changes and nerfs to Outlaw, it has somewhat lost its spot up there in S tier. Sub Rogue has completely come in and snatched that top spot from every melee spec, for every rogue spec. It is completely dominating the Mythic plus dungeons right here. Look at it, S tier for days, beating out Demon Hunter and Enhanced. That's for this week, but it remains a solid spot each week. Now let's start with the left side of things, the class talents. So as we look in the first row, we are looking at Shiv, Blind, and Sap. In row 2, we are looking at Evasion, Cheat Death, and Cloak of Shadows, taking all the defensives right here. In row 3, we are taking Numbing Poison. Having this on is just fantastic as it slows attack speed and casting speed on enemies that it's on. Then we are going into Nimble Fingers. We are going into Tricks of the Trade. In row 4, we are going Iron Stomach and Shadow Step. In row 5, we are taking Deadened Nerves and Tight Spender. In row 6, we are taking 2 points Deadly Precision, 2 points Thieves Versatility, and 2 points Night Stalker. In row 7, we are taking Vigor, we are taking Acrobatic Strikes, and Improved Ambush. In row 8, we are taking Leeching Poison, 2 points Lethality, and 2 points Alacrity. In row 8, we are taking Seal Fate, 2 points. We are taking Cold Blood, and finally, Deeper Stratagem. In row 9 or 10, we are taking Thistle Tea. Now, these are your Mythic Dungeon talents on the left side right here. They very rarely change for any types of content right here, but they are very solid and strong. Now, as we look at the right side of things, your Spec talents, this is specifically for AoE and Mythic Dungeons. Now, we are going with Improved Backstab. We are taking Improved Shuriken Storm. In row 2, we are taking Weapon Master, Relentless Strikes, and Black Powder. Absolutely needed for AoE. Without it, you're going to do nothing. In row 3, we're taking Premeditation. We are taking Shadow Blades and Silent Storm. In row 4, we are taking Gloom Blade. We are taking Veil Touched and Secret Technique, another absolutely blasting spell. In row 5, we are taking Deepening Shadows and Replicating Shadows. In row 6, we are taking 2 points Improved Shadow Dance, 2 points Shadowed Finishers, and Shuriken Tornado. In row 7, we are taking Cloak in the Shadows, big defensive right here, and Secret Stratagem. In row 8, we are taking 2 points Dark Shadow, 2 points Deeper Daggers. In row 8, we are taking 2 points Lingering Shadow, and 2 points Finality. And the final row, we are taking Dance Macabre, and we are taking Dark Brew. These are your go-to Mythic Dungeon and AoE talents. They're going to make you absolutely destroy the meters and the mobs inside your AoE and dungeon environments. And now, the reason this is being used, I have taken this data from many of the top rogues on Raider.io, Subcreation, all of these good sites that really track the talent use and build use of many of these top players that then I can provide to you to get you good, clean builds that you can use in this type of content. So next up, I'm going to provide you with a build for raiding, a very consistent AoE cleave with single target build that's going to work wonders on every single boss, bar one boss, and you know what I'm talking about, that is Teros, as it's pure single target, which I'll provide a build just after this. Now, there has only been 4 changes on the overall build, and I'm going to go into them right now. So the changes are, instead of taking Numbing Poison, we're taking Entropic Poison, and instead of taking Iron Stomach, we are taking Fleet-Footed. This is on the left side of the tree. That is all that is changed on this side. It's very utility-based. On the right side of things, instead of taking Gloomblade, we're going to be taking Shadow Focus. Instead of taking Cloak in the Shadows, we are taking Without a Trace. Now, again, very small changes, but they're going to do you wonders more in the raid environments than anything. So this is your go-to raiding build. Everything stays the same, bar these two here, and this and this. So after providing a Mythic Dungeon build, a AoE Cleave Raid build, I'm going to show you the pure single target build that will mostly only be used for one singular boss, and that is Teros, although you can use it wherever you like. It is totally up to you, but we're going to go straight in and go row 1. We are taking Shiv, Blind, and Sap. Row 2, Evasion, Cheat Death, and Cloak of Shadows. Row 3, Master Poisoner, Entropic Poison, and Tricks of the Trade. In row 4, Fleet-Footed and Shadow Step. In row 5, Deadened Nerves and Tight Spender. Row 6, 2 points Deadly Precision, 2 points Thieves' Versatility, and 2 points Night Stalker. In row 8, we are taking Vigor, Acrobatic Strikes, and Improved Ambush. Row 9, we are taking Leeching Poison, 2 points Lethality, and 2 points Alacrity. And then in row 10, we are taking 2 points Sealed Fate, Cold Blood, and Deeper Stratagem. And the final row, we are taking Thistle Tea. As you can see, not many changes, but some decent ones that will make you do more damage on single target. That is for the left side of things. The right side of things, we have Improved Backstab, Shadow Step. In row 2, Weapon Master, Shadow Focus, and Relentless Strikes. In row 3, we are taking Premeditation, Shadow Blades, and Silent Storm. In row 4, we are taking Gloomblade, Improved Shadow Techniques, Veiled Touch, and Secret Technique. In row 5, we are taking the First Dance, and we are taking Deepening Shadows. In row 6, we are taking 2 points Improved Shadows and 2 points Shadowed Finishers. In row 7, we are taking Without a Trace and Secret Stratagem. In row 8, 2 points Dark Shadow, 2 points Deeper Daggers. In row 9, 2 points Lingering Shadow, 2 points Finality, and the final row, we are taking 1 point Dance Macabre and 1 point Dark Brew. Now, these are going to be your go-to single target talents for Teros. Don't see them being too good anywhere else unless you really want to funnel damage on tyrannical weeks, but it's probably not viable as you don't even have Black Powder. But this is purely single target damage for Teros, and there is some fantastic logs using this right now. So as we move forward in the guide, next up I want to talk about gems, enchants, consumables, everything that you're going to need to make Sub-Rogue pop, and so you can be prepared for your top damage. Now, let's start off with the stat priority of Sub-Rogue. Now, if you're swapping over from Outlaw, you're going to be in a decent position because it still rolls crit as its main. Now, it goes as follows. Critical Strike, Mastery, Versatility, and Haste are your go-to in that order. Now, Outlaw rolls Verse Crit as its prio. Yours is Crit Mastery as Sub-Rogue, but your crit should be relatively high if you're swapping over from Outlaw, and your Versatility is still going to be useful because it makes you take less damage, and who doesn't want that? So, again, Crit first, then Mastery, then Verse, then Haste in that order. Next up, consumables. Now, there is some great consumables to use for Sub-Rogue. Now, again, very similar to Outlaw, with your file being tepid versatility or static empowerment. I have been testing out static empowerment any chance I get, and if you are able to stand still and not do much movement, then using the static file is for you, as when you are able to stay still, you get an increased primary stat bonus, but when you do move, you do lose that primary stat bonus, but you do get increased speed, so you got to take it at your own risk. Now, as always, potions are going to be the elemental potion of power, and if you can get your hands on the ultimate ones, they're going to be even better. Next up, make sure you're always carrying your refreshing healing potions, as they will 0 to 100 you in any situation. They are vital for higher keys and higher rating. The food you're going to be taking is the Fated Fortune Cookie, or eating any banquet or soup that you might find. The 2 weapon runes are going to be the Buzzing Rune, as the crit bonus, and crit being the primary stat of Sub Rogue is the best way to go. Attack power gems do work too, so if you do want to try them, give them a go. They're also great. So let's move on to gems and enchants. So the gems you're going to be want to taking are the Sensei's Alexstrasza. This is a crit and mastery buff, as these are your 2 main stats, and you want at least 1 inscribed illimitable diamond with your primary stat and crit stat on it as well. These will be fitted into whatever slot you've got. Your elemental lariat, you want 1 illimitable diamond, and the rest to be Sensei's Alexstrasza. Now, we're talking main hand and offhand. The 2 daggers that you're going to be using will have Sophic Devotion rank 3 on them. Your cloak, you want Graceful Avoidance. Your chest, you want Waking Stats. You want your Fierce Armor Kit on your legs. Your braces want Devotion of Avoidance. Your boots want Plain Runner's Breeze, and your rings want Devotion of Critical Strike on both of them. We're trying to pump the hell out of this crit so you can just blast in damage when you're given the opportunity. Now let's talk a little bit about best in slot gear that you're going to need to make your rogue destructive. Now, of course, we always want to be aiming for our 4 set. Now, the set bonus for sub rogue is pretty good. It's just really a flat out damage increase. It's nothing to like scream home about, but I will show it on screen right now. So your 2 set Eviscerate and Black Powder increases the damage and the critical strike chance of your next Backstab, Shadow Strike, and Shuriken Storm by 2% per combo point spent. And the 4 set is Backstab, Shadow Strike, and Shuriken Storm. Critical strikes increase the damage of Eviscerate and Rupture by 15% and the damage of Black Powder by 8%. So it is definitely worth grabbing, because your damage is going to flat out increase, and they riff off of each other really well. And trust me, it looks amazing. I'll show some of the pictures of the tier set as well. The Rogue has one of the best ones, hands down. It is pure juice. Now, all the best in slot stuff, I'll tell you about the rings and the weapons that we should be going for right now. Okay, now realistically, you want to be going for crafted items. Unless you're doing high-end mythic raiding or able to get like really juicy stuff in the Vault 421, then crafted items are going to be your best friend. So your 2 main hands are going to be Primal Molten Shortblade. Your main hand, Primal Molten Shortblade, and your offhand, Primal Molten Shortblade, showing them on screen. You're going to want Elemental Lariat with the 3 sockets, 1 primary stat, 2 crit gems in that. You want Flaring Cow comboed with the Seal of the Herner's Chosen, which is what I'm running right now. Flat out damage increase, and they proc off of each other really nicely. These are the 3 main items that you're going to be crafted, especially with embellishments on as well. Now, in my opinion, there are 5 solid trinkets that you need to be aiming for no matter what on any rogue spec. That is Manic Groove Torch, the Controlled Current Technique, the Whispering Incarnate Icon, Storm Eater's Boon, and finally, Wind Scar Whetstone. These 5 trinkets will serve you extremely well through any content at any level. They are crazy damage, especially the boon on AoE is phenomenal. If you can get this and get it timed right when you're using it in your rotation and keys, you will blow up in DPS. So there are 2 rings that are best in slot. The 2 from the raid are Seal of the Herner's Chosen and the Seal of Filial Duty. If you can get these, they proc so well with Flaring Cow that your overall DPS and survivability is just going to increase. Then the 2 rings from Dungeons would be Jeweled Signet of Melandris from Court of Stars, and the Valkyrie's Ascension Signet from the Halls of Valor. Also insane trinkets. The Jeweled Signet of Melandris with the pure auto attack bonus on it is fantastic if you can't get your hands on both of the rings. Okay, as we move forward with the guide, I want to talk to you about the rotation for Sub-Rogue. Now, the rotation looks something like this. This is your primary AoE rotation. In the single target one, you only change one thing. I'll cover that at the end. So your rotation looks something like this. So, Shadow Strike, Symbols of Death, Shadow Blades, Shuriken Tornado, Pot and Shadow Dance, then Subtlety, Rupture into a Black Powder, Cold-Blooded, Secret Technique, Black Powder, Shadow Strike, Black Powder, Shuriken Storm, and then from there is pretty much just Shuriken Storm, Black Powder, Shuriken Storm, Black Powder, Shuriken Storm, Black Powder, and it's continuous like that until you can realistically line up Secret Technique with Cold Blood, keeping your energy up with Subtlety, and your cooldowns come back off cooldown. Now, the main premise of this is that when you're doing single target, you're never going to be using Black Powder. It just doesn't do anything for single target. So you're going to be swapping Black Powder for Eviscerate, and you're going to be throwing in a Gloom Blade instead of your Shuriken Storm. Now, if there's more target, Shuriken Storm will work because obviously it translates into combo points that you can then spend on Eviscerate. That's how you funnel damage. But that is the main premise of your AoE, single target, and just your opener in general. I will cover a few more things as we speak about it now, though. So, offensive cooldown usage is a bit different from Outlaw Rogue, so I'm going to cover it a little bit here. Symbols of Death is your shortest cooldown and should be used as soon as possible, pretty much in your opener, and then consistently from there. Shadow Dance, you want to line up with Symbols of Death and use it when you can. Shadow Blade's fairly weak cooldown, duration is 20 seconds, makes it hard to use efficiently. The easiest way is to just use it on cooldown when it comes back up. Vanish, use it on cooldown. It's best to sync it up with Shadow Strike or Secret Technique into Shadow Dance. Secret Technique is best used during Shadow Dance. That's why we use it in the opener like we do. Cold Blooded is a great use. It's going to bump the damage of your Secret Technique. So always Cold Blood into Secret Technique. Subtlety is used whenever you really need to bump your energy back up. And Shuriken Storm, line it up with the Symbols of Death. And then just go nuts with your AoE. And that is it for the Sub-Rogue guide. I hope it has helped all of you, whether you are a beginner or someone just looking to learn a little bit more about your spec and what you need to do. These are taken from parsers, from the highest raiders, from the highest mythic dungeoners, from sub creation, Warhead, wherever we get this from, and I'm just funneling that information to you in a nice short video where you can learn a lot about your spec. Now, I'm Biggie Sweats. I hope you've enjoyed the content here today. If you have, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'll try and answer any questions as fast as possible. If you want my new UI, I'm going to have it all linked in the Discord ready for you. We also have a YouTube video that shows you how to install it. But until next time, guys, it's been a pleasure. Peace!